This is Monday, July 13th. You're watching Compass on CBC. Here's what's making news on PEI. It is by-election day in Cornwall Meadowbank. Voting has been going on all day, and later tonight we will know who will be the next MLA for District 16. Maritime Electric has begun installing data collectors on utility poles. It's part of the province's transition to smart meters. And there's a new weed zapper trend spreading through farm fields on Prince Edward Island. A chemical-free experiment to try and get rid of pesky weeds. We'll bring you a closer look. Good evening, I'm Louise Martin. Thank you for joining us. We will soon know who will be the next MLA in the PEI legislature. The by-election in Cornwall Meadowbank is underway. People have been voting all day, and our Steve Bruce is live outside the APM Centre in Cornwall. What's happening there, Steve? How busy have things been there today?
Well, Louise, you know, the APM Centre here is the one and only polling station here in Cornwall Meadowbank. And certainly over the last couple of hours, especially with that post-work rush, it's been really busy here. You can see folks going through the doors here now. And then when they get inside, there's quite a lineup, a long lineup to get in and actually vote. Voters are telling me it's taken about 20 minutes to get through that line. And I was just chatting with Tim Garrity a moment ago. He's the CEO of Elections PEI. He says voter turnout right now is up around 55%. He expects they'll get to 60% by the time the polls close at 7 o'clock. And he says, you know, that wouldn't be great for a general election, but for a by-election, he says that's pretty good. By-elections historically don't bring out as many voters, especially when they happen in the summertime. But there seems to be a lot of interest in this by-election here in Cornwall Meadowbank. And as I mentioned, about an hour left for voters to get out and vote for one of the four candidates. And let's just go through those four candidates in alphabetical order to remind people who's in this election. For the PCs, it's Callie McDonald, the Liberals, the party leader Robert Mitchell, the NDP Craig Nash, and Louise. Running for the Greens in this by-election, Tate Willows.
So, Steve, tell us a little more about the electoral history in that district and what's on the line in this particular by-election.
Well, you know, for a lot of years, Cornwall Meadowbank was really a Liberal stronghold. You had Ron McKinley, the Liberal, who held the seat here from 1985 until 2015. Then in 2015, Heath MacDonald won for the Liberals. He held that seat until 2021. Then he moved into federal politics. So in 2021, there was a by-election here. That's when Mark McLean, the PC candidate, won in 2021. He held on to the seat in the general election in 2023. As we know, Mark McLean sadly passed away back in March. That's why this by-election is taking place today. So certainly for the PCs, they'd really like to hang on to this seat in Cornwall Meadowbank. Then you have the Liberals who are trying to get their leader, Robert Mitchell, a seat in the legislature. He tried to do that in a by-election back in December. He didn't win. He's certainly hoping for a different result this time. If he wins, the Liberals will have 5 seats in the provincial legislature. If the Greens win, they'll have 4. If the NDP win tonight, they'll have a seat in the PEI legislature for just the second time in history. So, you know, you look at the overall numbers, and the outcome tonight is really not going to change the makeup much of the PEI legislature. The PCs are still going to have a really strong majority, but there's still a lot on the line here. I mean, for voters here in Cornwall Meadowbank, they're about to choose their new representative in this province. And you have to believe, Louise, for the parties, this is really a chance to gauge just how voters, just how Islanders really feel about them right now, which is something you want to know when there's a little over a year to go before the next provincial election.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. And when are we expecting some results to come in, Steve?
Well, Tim Garrity says the polls close at 7 o'clock. They've been counting the advanced poll results all afternoon, so they should be able to come out with those right at around 7 o'clock. Then at 7:30, after they start to shut things down here, they'll start counting the ballots from today. And Tim Garrity expects that by 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock, we should have all the results. So again, polls close 7 o'clock, a little under an hour to get here and vote. And then we wait for those results to come in, Louise. It should be an interesting night.
Oh, 100%. And we'll be up late. with you live here on Compass. Thank you. That's Steve Bruce live for us tonight in Cornwall. So as a reminder, we will have the results from tonight's by-election live here on Compass at 11 o'clock this evening. Yes, we're staying up. Steve will be back with us then as well. The results will also be up on our website, cbc.ca/PEI. The RCMP in New Brunswick say they do not have any new information to share about that horrible accident that killed 3 Islanders last week. The crash happened last Tuesday. 2 paramedics and a patient were killed when an ambulance and a truck collided on the other side of the Confederation Bridge. There will be a regimental funeral for the 2 paramedics. A date, however, has not been announced yet. The bodies of the 2 were brought home to PEI on Friday. There was a very long procession of first responders that started in New Brunswick, passing through Charlottetown Friday evening as well. Thousands of people lined both sides of the roadway to pay their respects. The procession eventually ended in Surrey. Jay joins us now with our first look at the weather. How's it feeling out there tonight, Jay?
A little bit breezy, pretty blustery conditions with that strong southwest wind, but that was a warmer wind direction to see today. Helped temperatures soar up into the high 20s, and it didn't feel that much warmer with the humidex. I think that will change a little bit tomorrow. This will continue, this wind, to usher in more humid air overnight into Tuesday. That could make for some unsettled conditions late in the day. Let's take a look at what we can expect tonight. We actually do have a chance for some wet weather to arrive late this evening and overnight in the form of showers, a few pockets of moderate rain, so off and on periods of rain or showers possible, and a decent chance that they will linger into the early morning hours tomorrow for more eastern areas. Even mid to late morning scattered showers will be possible before that sky clears to a mix of sun and cloud. The wind very blustery tonight, gusts 50, 60K. We'll see that wind still gusting 40, 50 kilometers per hour, mainly in the morning tomorrow. But as we get into the late afternoon, showers will be possible up west. And with that humid air in place, feeling high 20s to low 30s. Louise, we could even hear a rumble of thunder. Some thunderstorms are possible Tuesday night.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Islanders are waiting longer for hip and knee replacements compared to people in any other province. It's according to a new study by the Canadian Institute for Health Information. The national benchmark for knee replacements is 6 months. Last year, only 12% of patients on the island met that. Across Canada, it was 63%. Officials say they also saw a long wait for hip surgeries, but there are some signs things could be getting better.
PEI has increased its surgical capacity for hip and knee by 25% between 2019 and 2025. So it's a good sign we are seeing. But this may not immediately improve the percentage of patients meeting the benchmark. You are cleaning up the backlog for those waited longer than 6 months. So these patients get the service, but the performance indicator may not improve.
Health PEI says the volume of surgeries has increased as it works through the backlog. It says the number of patients treated within the benchmark time should go up. It also plans to implement a new waitlist management system. Maritime Electric says it's about a third of the way through installing tens of thousands of smart meters across PEI. It's also putting up small machines on electrical poles to gather information and send it back to the company. Connor Lamont has more on that.
You may not look up at electrical poles very much, but if you do, you may have noticed something new. Maritime Electric has started installing data collectors on some of its poles as part of its work to transition about 90,000 customers to smart meters, which the utility says will manage usage. The data collectors will take information from the smart meters, like how much energy a home or other building is using, and send it back to the head office. 1,300 of these are going up across the island. About 1,000 have already been installed.
And they'll be collecting the data from the meters. The meters will send out a signal every 15 minutes, and that's the difference between the system that we have right now, where we get a reading once a month from a meter. Now we'll be having a reading from a meter. It'll be interrogated every 15 minutes.
Around 34,000 of the new smart meters have been installed since last fall. Orford says they'll give more information on usage patterns, helping customers manage their consumption. It could identify an appliance like an old freezer that's using more electricity than a new one would. These meters will allow Maritime Electric to potentially charge different electricity rates, like more during peak times. Right now, you pay a flat rate for power.
is there an opportunity to incent customers through time of use rates, influence behavior, so that it ends up being an economic savings for the customer, i.e., if there's an incentive for maybe, pushing the button to start your dishwasher at 10 o'clock at night instead of doing it, at 6 o'clock when there's a higher load period.
Orford says the remaining 60,000 meters will take a little longer to put in since they're mostly going in rural areas and require a little more driving time. The old ones will also be taken to a recycling plant in Halifax. The project will cost about $66.8 million, and Ottawa will cover about $19 million of that. The work is expected to wrap up next summer. Connor Lamont, CBC News, Brookfield.
The city of Charlottetown is trying to speed up housing construction. It's created 4 pre-approved housing designs. 2 are backyard suites and 2 are duplexes. The idea is that can get approval to build these quickly and provide more housing on a standard lot. The designs are free to use. The city used money from the Federal Housing Accelerator Fund to create them. There is a new trend surging its way through farm fields here on PEI. Farmers are experimenting with using electricity to kill weeds. Experts say it's chemical-free and gets rid of seeds that could grow back next season. Nancy Russell reports.
A researcher on Prince Edward Island is looking at the potential of electricity as a way to control weeds in farm fields. This unit sends a surge from a generator at the back of the tractor through a copper pipe at the front, zapping the weeds it touches.
We'll see like little sparkles, little electric shocks going from it, and as we're passing over, within an hour we're seeing the plants wilt, and then within a week we see the plants are getting nice and crispy and dead.
McDonald controls what the electricity hits, depending on the height of the crop. She has been testing it on potatoes, beets, and rutabagas.
If you think of like a mower where you can change your mowing deck height, same with this. We're just kind of changing the height of the bar.
Experts say using electricity also works for weeds that are herbicide resistant. Zapping also has advantages over cutting down weeds.
If you just cut tall weeds that are growing above the crop, the clipped stem that lays on the ground can produce seeds.
White has also been experimenting with the technology.
Carrots, it's a very effective weed control tool in carrot production and other vegetables, potato production. It has to be used in a situation where you can hit weeds without hitting the crop plants because it's not selective. So the electricity will just as happily travel through a potato plant as it will a weed plant.
There are, however, some limitations to using electricity.
Last year, the drought definitely posed a big challenge because the weeds, they weren't growing, so they weren't taller than my crops. And also there is a chance of this being a fire hazard if the material is too dry that we're zapping.
There's also the cost of the equipment. A medium-sized weed zapper is about $120,000.
Any farmer can do it at this point in time if they're willing to invest in the equipment. And it's really just a matter of time before we start seeing more and more of these machines being used.
This is year 2 of Nicole McDonald's project. She says she's looking forward to trying it on more crops and in more grower fields. Nancy Russell, CBC News, Harrington.
The Cavendish Beach Music Festival has wrapped for another year. It brought about 50,000 country music fans to the island over the weekend. Headliners this year were Hardy, Tucker Wetmore, and Cody Johnson. Police say the weekend kept them quite busy with a number of liquor offenses, mainly underage drinking, but officers say there were fewer drinking and driving cases than in previous years. We're going to take a little break. A little windy, you can tell there from our tower cam, looking at the Blockhouse Lighthouse. Just to let you know, Elections PEI saying 55.5% voter turnout right now, but there's a long line of people waiting to vote, so they're adding some more workers, and we will have the very latest on the by-election for you coming up later tonight. Well, take a look at this. We had some video sent to us from the Mount Melek-Ponnell Bay area. This was shot on Saturday afternoon, and thank you to the viewers who sent this in. It looks somewhat similar to what we saw a couple of weeks ago near Kensington, and it looks like a tornado. What exactly are we looking at? It's over water, however, right?
Yeah, anytime you have a tornado over water, it technically is a water spout.
Okay.
But this would be on Saturday. I mean, we had a few isolated showers, but it was genuinely fair weather. So this would be a fair weather. If it's over land, we call it a land spout. If it's over water, we call it a water spout. So you get a little convective cloud there along a boundary. In this case, it was likely a sea breeze off the south shore.
Okay.
And that kicked up that water spout, which if it did make it, on shore onto the beach,
It'd be our tornado.
it would technically be a tornado. We rate tornadoes based on the damage they cause, and since this didn't cause any damage,
It's not rated.
Not
Yeah.
rated, or be default EF0, which is what you would expect for a water spout. They're short-lived, they're relatively weak, but if you're a boater or a swimmer out on the water, that is a dangerous thing. And if it moves on shore, it can cause damage to structures and poses a hazard for people. So,
And it looks scary.
it does.
Let's face it, it looks scary.
I mean, looking at some of the photos, that was a very big water spout.
Yeah, and it's hard to see that it's over water.
Yeah.
Depending on what your vantage point is, right? So.
And last week that was a land spout, or 2 weeks ago, sorry. We had a land spout, which is the same process.
Right.
It's like a tornado, but it's not connected to a strong rotating
So
mesocyclone or strong thunderstorm.
Not as big a risk, but it's still kind of scary to see. All right, let's have a look at how the weather shaped up today, shall we?
I never get to see them, by the way. So thanks for the video. I appreciate the video. There's a look at the winds this hour. They're not spinning. They're all from the same direction. That's a good thing. But it is pretty robust. We saw as we were heading to break there, pretty shaky conditions on our camera, looking out over the blockhouse, and that wind will actually be picking up this evening. So it's sustained between 20 to just over 30 kilometers per hour. Actually, Summerside just clocked a gust close to 50K. We've been seeing gusts over 50 kilometers per hour being reported today. So it is pretty blustery. Gusts may even top 60 kilometers per hour late this evening and overnight. And that is a warm wind direction. So that's one of the reasons why it was so warm today. Takes time for that humidity to build in. It was still dry enough, the atmosphere, that it did not feel overly oppressive in terms of the humidex values today. Tomorrow will be a little bit more humid, and later in the day, because of that humid air in place, it could be a bit unsettled. You'll want to keep an ear to the sky or be sky aware late in the day tomorrow, as thunderstorms will be possible Tuesday night. So there's a look at our temperatures. Now, in terms of the humidex value, really only adding between 1 and 3 degrees from the posted temperature to what it feels like for most areas. So not overly oppressive in terms of that humidity today. We have seen a few clouds develop, and we'll see more of a mix of sun and cloud this evening, but the clouds will be increasing, and there is that chance of showers arriving, I would say, late this evening up west, so into western Prince County. Already seeing showers and thunderstorms as we look towards the Gaspé Peninsula into northern New Brunswick. That will continue to work its way east. Since it wasn't so humid today, this will be more in the line of likely just scattered showers or pockets of more moderate rain. Scattered in nature or isolated, working across the island through the overnight hours tonight. May see those showers linger, very scattered into the morning hours across the island. Central and eastern areas, mid, even late morning before they do wind down. It's not a widespread soaking by any stretch. Then we get a decent amount of sunshine into the afternoon. Temperatures will be warm, it will be humid, it will be blustery. And then into the evening hours, you see those showers potentially up west in the afternoon, but through the evening and overnight hours, showers and thunderstorms. And I cannot rule out strong thunderstorms, likely for western areas if we see them moving out of New Brunswick late in the day. And into Wednesday, mix of sun and cloud, off and on showers. That still may come with a rumble, likely non-severe, but we'll have to keep an eye on that potential into Wednesday as well. So through the overnight hours tonight, we do see those clouds building this evening, wet weather arriving late this evening, and then working across the island, late evening overnight. Temperatures will stay between 15 and 17 degrees, and that's because of that very robust, very warm southwesterly wind that could be gusting 50, 60 kilometers per hour. We'll see those daytime highs tomorrow. There we go, between 24 and 27, likely feeling between 27 and 32 with the humidex. Central and eastern PEI will see temperatures in the 15 to 17 degree range tonight. Those showers likely holding until after midnight for more eastern areas. And then we'll watch for the wet weather to wrap up likely by mid-morning, maybe late morning for Eastern Kings. Decent amount of sunshine through the afternoon. Temperatures will be in the 24 to 27 degree range. Again, could feel low 30s for some areas, though, with the Humidex. As we look to Tuesday night, we have that thunderstorm potential. Still a chance for isolated showers or thunder showers into Wednesday as well. Temperatures will be cooling off, though, as we head towards the weekend, actually struggling to hit 20 degrees as we look to Friday. Saturday, Sunday, a bit below that seasonal average as well. But still, much like this weekend that just passed, very comfortable, just not as hot or humid as folks might like if they're planning a beach trip on the weekend. All right, let's take a look now at our first photo for you tonight. Kaylee Ellsworth sending us this picture of a beautiful sunset in Nail Pond, overlooking, you can see the hayfield there, those big round bales there.
Beautiful picture.
I love the color in the sky.
Thanks,
though.
Kaylee.
If you want to share your photos like Kaylee did, drop them into our inbox. Our address is compass@cbc.ca.
Thanks, Jay. Coming up, a PEI researcher is working to fill gaps in research on medical assistance in dying, or MAID, mental health, and the queer community. They say there's been a lack of diverse voices contributing to that conversation. We'll speak with Jay Tang after this break.
This weather update was brought to you by Cavendish Farms, Canada's favorite fries, made here in PEI.
A PEI researcher says queer people have been highly neglected in all conversations around medical assistance in dying or MAID and MAID for mental illness. Jay Tang is a PhD student at the University of Victoria in British Columbia, and we've reached them virtually tonight to talk more about their research. Really good of you to join us.
Thank you so much.
So what led you to study the intersection of MAID, mental illness, and 2S LGBTQ+ health?
So I think it's pretty well known that queer and trans communities experience high rates of mental illness and suicidality and high rates of death by suicide, not by nature of being queer or trans, but because of systemic and interpersonal discrimination and oppression. And as a queer and trans person with lived experience of mental illness and suicidality, it was very absurd and a little bit concerning to me when I realized that government reports and deliberations on MAID for mental illness don't appear to mention or consider the queer community at all. And that absence of queer voices is also true in broader academic and community conversations around MAID.
So this is deeply personal to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Your research says that queer communities have not been part of many conversations about MAID. Why do you think that they've been left out?
It's a very strange thing to me. I think that, over the last little while, especially in queer communities, suicide prevention has been a really big focal point. And MAID for mental illness obviously just kind of inherently complicates those discussions. So it is truly strange to me that our communities haven't been included, but that is also true of disabled communities, Indigenous nations. Many marginalized communities haven't been a part of these conversations.
And why is it important that they are a part of these conversations?
Yeah, I mean, we know that mental health and mental illness are influenced by so many factors, including discrimination and oppression. A lot of these marginalized communities face increased barriers to accessing healthcare and all of these other things that can lead folks to having increased mental illness or increased suicidality. And what I've been hearing from folks is a lot of concerns about offering death as a free government-funded medically necessary service when people are still paying significant amounts of money for things like mental health care, including therapy and medications, not to mention vision and dental care, and of course things like housing and food. And so people have a lot of concerns about what will happen when all of these basic needs are financially inaccessible to people, but MAID is free.
And then recently, of course, a parliamentary committee recommended not expanding MAID to people whose only medical condition is mental illness. I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
I think that decision was a reflection of a lot of uncertainty and also a lack of noticeable improvement in the healthcare system, specifically in the mental health care system. The legalization of MAID for mental illness was postponed over the past few years to give the healthcare system more time to prepare. And I don't think that witnesses were able to present evidence that the system has become more prepared in any meaningful way. We've seen increase in demand for mental health care without necessarily an equal increase in capacity. So I think it is the correct decision. I think there are still a lot of voices missing from the conversation. And until we hear those voices, the conversation just remains fundamentally incomplete.
We talk about the struggle to access healthcare, mental health care, of course, is part of that. So what are some of the biggest challenges for 2S LGBTQ+ people in Atlantic Canada specifically, and how might those affect decisions around MAID?
For a lot of queer folks, I mean, just the historic oppression and discrimination leaves a lot of folks struggling financially, and obviously therapy and other mental health care supports can be very financially inaccessible for folks. Also, the issue of needing culturally competent care, providers who understand queer and trans identities and are respectful and affirming of them. The other big one that I hear a lot of concerns about is the inaccessibility of gender-affirming care in Atlantic Canada. Obviously, several of our Atlantic provinces don't do gender-affirming surgery, so folks have to fly out of province, which can introduce a lot more barriers. And with things like gender-affirming care specifically, we know how much that can decrease suicidality and increase quality of life for trans folks. And so not being able to access that can really lead people towards darker places, especially where MAID may feel more accessible either financially or just in being able to get that without some of the barriers that come with gender affirming care.
Yeah, and I mean, if you keep hitting those barriers time after time, right? Like the frustration sets in and you feel so alone. You are looking for people in PEI to take part in your study. So what do you hope to learn and how can people get involved?
Yes. So for this study specifically, I'm looking to hear queer folks' perspectives on MAID for mental illness and its relationship to suicide, and also looking to learn more about folks' experiences accessing mental health crisis prevention services and how those experiences interact potentially with the legalization of MAID for mental illness. I think a lot of the time critiques around MAID are characterized as being exclusively conservative, right-wing, or religious in nature. And I think that those voices have been some of the loudest in the conversation. So I think it's really important right now to be highlighting a diversity of perspectives and to be really intentional about seeking out perspectives from, Indigenous nations, queer, trans, disabled communities, people of color. And so I'm trying to fill a small piece of that gap. And if folks are interested in participating, they can contact me at tangjs@uvic.ca.
tangjs@uvic.ca. All right. Well, I hope you get some people reaching out from your home province of Prince Edward Island, but it was really lovely to connect with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And as we go to break, a little look at the temperatures across the country. It is 24 degrees in Charlottetown right now. You can see some of those hot spots scattered across the country, some heat warnings in parts of Canada today. 34 degrees right now in Winnipeg, and we're back with more news for you after this. President Donald Trump says the U.S. is reinstating its blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. The blockade of the strategic passageway started back in April. It ended when the two countries signed a ceasefire last month. But now Trump says that ceasefire is over. Katie Nicholson has the latest.
After a weekend of renewed strikes, tensions between the U.S. and Iran have given way to new threats from the U.S. president. Donald Trump today telling Fox News the U.S. would take over the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, we're taking over the strait. They have nothing.
And posting on social media, the USA will be from this point forward known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. But as such and as a matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo. Iran's foreign minister posted this in response on X. POTUS is absolutely right. Whoever provides secure and safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz should be compensated for this service. Iran has always been the guardian of the strait and will remain so forever. 20% is, of course, too much. We will be fair. It was also met with some incredulity by some in Congress.
The president is just not living in reality when he says that we're going to somehow take over the strait like we take over the Erie Canal or something. We're not going to have that level of control. So the president's not dealing in reality, which is a major, major problem here. We're not going to be able to control it.
Trump also announced he was bringing back the U.S. military blockade of Iranian ports that is set to begin again at 3 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. It comes after a fresh wave of attacks, Iran targeting U.S. allies in the Gulf region, while the U.S. has concentrated on taking out facilities that could attack commercial shipping, like in this video of a Marine drone strike on a maritime maintenance facility. There are fears this latest escalation could boil over across the region, and it has already again slowed traffic through the strait and bumped up oil prices. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
2 people are dead and 4 are seriously injured after a shooting at a street festival in Toronto over the weekend. Police say about 13,000 people were in attendance.
The fact that individuals who use guns in a crowded public setting with no regard whatsoever for the safety of those around them is alarming.
So far, police have not named or arrested any suspects, but they say the victims were targeted, both of them in their 20s. The shooting forced organizers to cancel the second day of the festival. Mayor Olivia Chow says Toronto will not let, quote, reckless criminals stop the city from holding outdoor street festivals. The police chief is calling for harsher penalties for gun use in public settings. The RCMP has arrested a former member of Parliament and former mayor of Dauphin, Manitoba. Inky Mark is charged with a dozen weapons-related offences. The Mountie seized 439 firearms from his home in the city, which is about 300 kilometres northwest of Winnipeg. They also seized an antique cannon, ammunition, and $300,000 in cash. Police say at least 3 of the firearms had been illegally trafficked. Mark is also charged with possession of a firearm with a tampered serial number and with unsafe firearm storage. The RCMP say a motive is unclear, but note that he collects firearms. Mark was in Parliament for 13 years from 1997 to 2010, originally with the Reform Party. Heat warnings are in place for much of central Canada. The warnings affect millions of people from Saskatchewan through southern Manitoba to Ontario and Quebec. Environment Canada says in some places, humidex values are making it feel 45 degrees. Manitobans suffer through record temperatures over the weekend. At one point on Monday, Thunder Bay was the hottest spot in Canada. Temperatures are expected to peak Tuesday, but will remain high for much of the week. A family in Nova Scotia is calling for changes to the federal disability tax credit. They say their family depended on that credit for years, but when their son turned 19, his application was not renewed because he was a legal adult and his parents could not apply on his behalf. Selena Alders has more.
What do you think about it?
Oh. Martin O'Driscoll will always need someone by his side. He's on the autism spectrum and has an intellectual disability.
I guess you could describe Martin as having high support needs. He's not nonverbal, but he's also not conversational.
For years, the O'Driscoll family has relied on the federal disability tax credit, a tax break worth up to $1,500 per year. But when Martin turned 19, his application renewal was denied. As a legal adult, his parents could no longer apply on his behalf. They had to spend thousands of dollars and go through the court system to become his legal guardians.
I was like, what? So
We were surprised to hear that.
yeah, that was the shocker.
The federal government recently expanded its disability tax credit program, which was applauded by advocates. But they caution it won't have its intended impact if there are barriers to access. This researcher says the government should provide more resources to help families navigate a complicated system.
There are very few legal clinics across the country that focus on the rights of persons with disabilities and what's needed by persons with disabilities.
We want people to understand there's this gap in the system and that it shouldn't be there.
Martin's parents say they understand the requirement might be needed as a safeguard against fraud, but argue the bar is too high.
Special needs parents are already really burdened with appointments and evaluations and school, and then to have all this administrative stuff on top of it is very stressful.
Martin has since been reapproved. The Federal Department of Finance says obtaining legal guardianship is a matter of provincial and territorial law, and that Ottawa will continue to find ways to improve the tax credits application process. Selena Alders, CBC News, Halifax.
An Ontario woman who is donating her kidney to her sister in Nova Scotia says the experience will cost her several $1,000s. That's because Nova Scotia does not cover the expenses of a companion to travel with her to support her recovery. Carolyn Ray has that story.
When Amanda Acker decided to donate a kidney to her older sister, she knew it would be an emotional process, but worth it. What she didn't expect was the financial toll.
Your ability to save a life should not depend on your ability to absorb the cost.
A few weeks ago, Acker says she was blindsided to learn that Nova Scotia won't cover her partner's expenses to be by her side when she has the surgery. They live in Ottawa and have to travel to Halifax. After she donates her kidney, she can't lift anything and will need support to get meals. While anonymous donors have the ability to have the surgery at home, Acker says she was told she had to physically be in Nova Scotia. The province's health authority says there are only about 2 cases involving donors from another province a year. Speaking virtually at a cabinet meeting last week, the province's health minister said there are no plans to change the policy.
We look across the country and we see that there are, different approaches in different provinces, but this is certainly what we're able to do at the moment.
The idea that the money isn't there is clearly not the case, because they're going to spend it on dialysis costs, right? And they're going to save it by doing these transplants.
I just think that they would get a lot more people wanting to come forward and help out and donate if it wasn't such a financial thing.
Laura Fowler is joining Acker's call for change. In January, she traveled from Kingston, Nova Scotia to Quebec City to give her best friend a kidney without a dedicated support person. Quebec, like Nova Scotia, does not cover travel for a companion for live donations.
It's emotionally draining after the first moment when you've given the kidney, because you think you can just get up and start doing things. Well, you can't.
Acker knew she was facing some expenses with this donation, especially because she has to reduce her work for the next few weeks. But she wasn't expecting to pay $3,000 to bring her partner here. It's peak travel season, and she says the bills are adding up. She's calling on provinces to fix this gap. She believes with more funding, it will encourage more live donations in the future. Carolyn Ray, CBC News, Halifax.
Canada's biggest airport is warning people to beware of fake news about its operations. Toronto Pearson International says online articles generated by AI are publishing inaccurate data about flight delays and cancellations. Alice Yasson has more.
The headlines read, "Airport chaos at Pearson, Canada air traffic gridlock," when in reality, operations are operating as normal.
What these sites are doing is they're trying to generate clicks and make money off of airport operation situations that simply aren't happening.
Pearson Airport is sounding the alarm over AI bot-written articles they say are misleading the public, scraping outdated information from the internet.
What we're seeing is that some of these quote unquote authors or writers are writing 1,200 word stories and sometimes up to 100 of them a day. So they're clearly not being written by somebody. It's being done by AI.
But why?
There are a few different broad categories. One is absolutely people trying to get money.
We've asked this TMU technology professor about what we've learned about similar sites.
There have been journalists and others who've tracked down the people behind some of the site. And in some cases they found them, and the people are genuinely saying, I'm just here to make Google ad revenue. I'm just trying to get any content and people to my site, and then I make money off the banner ads to the side. There are cases where there have been bot networks, and we're not really sure.
We actually heard back from 3 of the sites flagged by Pearson Airport. Quote, Travel and Tour World firmly denies the allegations that our website relies on automated AI bots to generate flight status or operational content for Toronto Pearson Airport. Toronto Digest says our editorial pipeline uses AI to draft daily posts with human review before anything publishes. TheTraveler.org says, quote, our articles are based on the information available at the time of publication and are intended to summarize ongoing events for travelers.
I've seen a lot of AI-generated content all over the place. You can never decipher what's real from fake.
It doesn't surprise me because a lot of people are not that technologically inclined.
Why make travel more stressful than it needs to be?
They have to do their own research too, right? And they've got to be careful.
The advice is, before you do anything drastic like change your travel plans, get your information from the source. Toronto Pearson Airport has live pages on their websites where they're constantly updating flight statuses. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Mississauga.
And in the face of economic uncertainty, many Canadians have been looking for ways to lower the cost of their travel. Some have found a solution in something called home swapping. Aina Sidhu explains how it works.
Canadians are getting creative to afford their next holiday. As rising costs squeeze budgets, more travelers are swapping homes instead of paying for hotels or short-term rentals.
Being a teacher, I have, a lot of freedom in the summer to travel quite far for a significant amount of time.
Calgarian Christy Moore says home exchanges are making longer trips more realistic.
I have 3 bedrooms upstairs, my primary one, but then I have 2 guest rooms.
The concept is simple. Members of online platforms pay an annual fee of a few $100s. They can then exchange directly with another homeowner or can earn credits to book another home on the platform.
If you were traveling for 2 weeks, to save a few $1,000s on accommodation might open up some other opportunities that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Tatiana Giberson is currently swapping her Calgary home with a family in Medford, Oregon. They've done this a dozen times, going as far away as France and Mexico.
It is a very appealing experience to literally just try on somebody else's life for a change. The secondary factor is obviously cost savings.
Platforms behind the trend say more Canadians are signing up. People Like Us says membership has grown about 20% over the past year.
Canada used to be our 5th largest country in the world, and now it's our 2nd largest.
Home exchange. We switch houses, cars, everything. Bingo.
Home Exchange, featured in the holidays, says 15,000 exchanges are planned in Canada this summer, up nearly 30% from last year.
Because of the rising travel costs, people are getting more comfortable with getting a little bit outside of their comfort zone.
Experts say this trend reflects a shift in how Canadians are traveling.
People are looking for what we call authentic experiences. They want to be within the communities.
But like any sharing platform, the biggest hurdle is trust. Users say reviews and video calls help build confidence before handing over the keys. Aina Sidhu, CBC News, Calgary.
Well, given what's happening in the Middle East right now and the discussions or lack thereof between Donald Trump and Iran, you can expect that we saw oil prices go higher today, and that dragged stock markets lower. The TSX was down 52, the Dow off by 138, and the Nasdaq fell 408 on the first trading day of this new week. The Canadian dollar was, just a smidge higher, 70.70 cents U.S. The price of oil up $6.73. Brent crude was up 9.6% to $83.30 today. What a great shot, Carter. Our second photo of the day. This is an eagle perched on a tree in lot 16. How did you get that close? Maybe it's not a very high tree. I don't know, but that's an amazing shot.
They intimidate me. I say it every time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's a great, what a beautiful picture.
Beautiful photo.
A beautiful picture. Just the stoic face, you know?
Yeah.
All right, Jay.
Thoughts are with the local squirrel population.
Thank you, Carter, for that beautiful picture. Almanac time.
Let's take a look. It was warm, but it wasn't overly humid. I didn't hear any complaints today. No one was complaining.
Unlike some of the heat, the places in Canada right now, scorching.
Much of the country under yellow and orange level heat warnings right now. Not the case here. Now, it will be a little bit more humid tomorrow, and it could be a bit more unsettled too. Chance of showers overnight tonight lingers into the early to mid-morning hours for most areas. That wind still gusting over 50k in the morning. Does begin to ease though into the afternoon. We will see those gusts still possibly gusting to 50k, but likely more in the 20 to 40k range by late afternoon. And you do see that chance of showers at 4 o'clock. That's mainly western Prince County. I think for most of the island, that chance of showers will be early to mid-morning. Decent in the middle of the day, but then into the evening hours, showers, and late in the evening, thunder showers possible. And I can't rule out the potential, Louise, with the showers arriving a little earlier, a bit more humidity up west. And eastern New Brunswick, some stronger thunderstorms are possible in western Prince County late tomorrow. So do be sky aware and head inside at the first sound.
You said early tomorrow or late tomorrow? Sorry.
Early for showers and then late for that thunderstorm potential. So into Tuesday evening. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, we will be up late with you tonight. I was just checking with Elections PEI, 58.41% voter turnout, but there's still a number of people in line, and they have to see you, right? Like if you've been in line before 7. Have a good night. Good night, PEI. See you at 11.